is intended to make it clear any views and or opinions expressed on the Fox Paranormal Chat are just that. Any topics of discussion during the broadcasted show is in no way the exclusive view nor opinion of the hosts or any web radio network staff. You're listening to the Fox Paranormal Chat on the W.E.B.B Radio Network. And now, Michael and Destiny Fox. You're live.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
It's Destiny Fox and
Michael.
my handsome husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. Conceited.
She tells me enough, so I just go with it.
This is our first live streaming podcast
Yeah,
with
it
the
is.
web.
It is.
It is amazing. We have been so excited about this. We are supposed to have a guest, but Jereme, as a lot of you know, works for the fire department, so he could be on a call, but he may be joining us. If he doesn't, we'll talk about the paranormal. I hope everybody had a good Christmas and a good New Year. Our New Year is off to a so-so start.
Yeah.
We lost our baby, our little Addie dog, and I miss her so much.
Our hearts are so broken over
Yes.
that. I mean, I still can't comprehend what went on.
Yeah, it was a sad time. So our new year is like so, but we've got a lot of things planned for this coming up year. We're going to talk about something here.
Well, we got a lot of things coming up. Yeah. We've got several Paracons this year that we've already booked us for.
Excited.
So, I hope everybody can come to the Paracons and get to meet us in person.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. I want to tell you something strange that happened this morning. So
strange, huh?
Yes.
Ooh.
So you left for work. What, about 5? I think I got up at 5:15. It's my off day, and I should have been sleeping late, but it didn't work out that way for me. So there was light flashes in the bedroom window, and I think that's what woke me up. But there were no cars in the driveway, just little flashes of light. And I'm not sure what all that was about.
Aliens?
I don't know, possibly.
Could have been extraterrestrials coming to visit.
I don't know, but it was creepy. I stayed awake.
Or Bigfoot had a flashlight.
I don't know. I closed the curtain though. I was like,
I don't know
what this is about.
I don't know. I've
either.
seen those flashing lights in the past too.
Outside our window?
Outside our window, it seems like, but I've never seen a vehicle out there when I've seen them.
I haven't either. I
don't know.
We are working a case right now that involves a child, and that's always complicated.
Yeah.
This little child is seeing things that she shouldn't see, and we're trying to work it out so we can get there. It is out of state, but we are in close contact over the phone with this family.
True. Yeah, you've been in constant contact with them. I mean, you've been updating it constantly, like you always do when we take a case.
Right. But the thing about this is this child is seeing spirits of people who have passed on, and I've actually kicked around the idea that maybe this child is a little psychic medium. She can see spirits, or
kids do have more ability to see the paranormal than adults do.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I remember as a child, I witnessed a lot of spirit activity. And I think that's what stems back to my interest in the paranormal all these years, is because of all the things I experienced as a young child.
Right.
And, just trying to find answers and find out why.
Yeah. Well, this child is actually to the point where she's naming the people who passed away in the house.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, names that she possibly should not even know. And when her grandmother and mother try to verify this, she's spot on.
Yeah.
With these names.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, part of it right there.
Yeah.
That she's able to, she's coming up with names.
Mm-hmm.
So is it family members that have passed on, maybe?
No, it's not their family, but people who used to live in the house.
Mm-hmm.
They do know of some names of some people who passed away in the house.
Well,
It's an older home.
There is instances, that has been documented that, like a family member will come back and kind of watch over a child.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of that over the years, like a grandmother or an aunt or even an uncle or a grandfather, something of that nature. And they're not there to harm anybody. They're there watching over their grandchild or their relative.
Right. Usually when I have family or close friends, I usually dream about them. And that's how they come to me. But children in the paranormal is such a touchy subject.
It is.
Because children don't understand what they're seeing or what they're feeling, they don't understand anything that's going on. And so that really is tricky when you're trying to deal with a child.
Yeah, it is tricky.
And they don't understand. Matter of fact, this poor child is scared to death. So, and it is one of my family members. So, to the fact where she hides under the table. I think they took the table down to get her out from under the table. So, interesting case, though.
Yeah. We have booked an event that we have coming up this year. We're going to be going to the USS North Carolina.
Yes.
For an
I'm
investigation.
Excited.
And I cannot wait because, I was raised in North Carolina. And it's just like one county away from where my hometown was. So I'm hoping, we have time that I can go visit the old hometown.
Oh, I hope so. We're going to try to leave a day or two earlier than the event.
I haven't been back in years, and I'm really looking forward to it, to see, everything, how it's changed over the years. And I have family that's buried there that I have been to their gravesite in many, 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 many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to doing that. I have a brother that was buried there, and I haven't been to his grave in over 30 some years.
Right. Getting back to children in the paranormal, since we got started on that, you said you had experiences as a child. What happened?
I just remember having a lot of visitations when I was really young. I'm talking, memories I have of being like 5 or 6 years old, maybe even younger than that. I can't pinpoint it back further than that. I used to see spirits walking through the house at night, and they would like they were coming through the bedroom I was sleeping in, like it was a sidewalk going by me, and I would see a lot of them. Now, I did experience one time when I was a child. I know I was like 4 or 5 years old. I had a great uncle that passed away, and in those days, they would put the body in the family's home, and he was in our home in the living room, for visitation for a couple of days. And I swear, he was talking to me while he was there when I was little. It just seemed so real to me.
And you saw him?
I saw him, yes.
When I was a child, most of my experience was I could hear them. I could hear them. And I could hear them making noises like in the walls, voices. I didn't have the ability to see them at the time,
Yeah.
but I could hear them. And so that was pretty intense, as a child that don't know what's going on. And my sister was very open about it, so I would tell her about it, but I never spoke much about it to my mother.
Yeah. Now your sister was very in touch with the
She
paranormal.
was.
Very in touch with it.
My sister, a relative of ours, was going to Haiti September 2011. I remember her telling this friend, "You're going to go on this trip to Haiti, but you're not going to come back." And then I'm like, "What?" And she said, "Oh, they're going to come back, but it's not going to be when they want to come back."
Yeah, yeah.
So as it goes on, she told us probably the next day or two. She said, "No, I have seen the reason." And she said, "I've seen buildings burning, people jumping out of the building, and just smoke everywhere and fire." Well, September the 11th, 9/11, this friend was set to come home. And this friend couldn't come home because just as they were about to board their plane in Haiti to come home, um, all the flights are canceled.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, it was just after the planes hit the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
So my sister had quite a unique ability.
Yeah.
And that stemmed from when she was a child too, because she saw our grandfather. I think I was 3 when our grandfather died, but she mentioned several times that she saw him and that she would see him walking down the road toward her. We lived in a house, and just right down the road, my grandfather lived down there, and my grandmother. We could walk to their house, and she would see him walking down the road coming toward her like he was walking to our house.
Right. That's an interesting phenomenon that would happen. And it was interesting, that your sister, of course, her name is Nell.
Oh, thank you, Jared. We love you.
Her sister Nell was very sensitive to the paranormal, and I grew quite close with Nell, over the years and I miss her terribly.
I do too.
But she was very open to it, and I mean, she would help us out a lot, and she was always telling us her feelings, things that she was sensing, and we would run with it because we didn't discount anything like that. It was a very interesting time. And I think she's, since she's gone on, I think she's been back to visit us a few times.
Yes, she has.
Yeah.
Used to when she lived with us, and my sister had the mind of like a 13, 14-year-old. And she lived with us or with another family member after our mother passed away. And this one time, well, every time I would lose something, she would always find it.
Yeah.
And so now when I lose stuff, even though she's passed on, it's like it'll show up in an obvious place, someplace I'd already looked, and I'll just say, "Thank you, Nell.
Yeah.
Thank you for finding that for me."
Yeah.
But her stems from being a child too.
Yes.
And a lot of people, their testimonies are they actually got into the paranormal, because as a child they saw spirits. And, they pursued the paranormal to find out exactly, well, what do we see here? What's going on here?
A lot of people, say that's the reason why they got into the paranormal. Because they were wanting answers. We investigate the paranormal to try to prove or disprove a haunting and help our clients in any shape, way, or form we can. So, we go in there with very open minds. And we don't disclaim anything they've told us that they've experienced, because who are we to say they didn't experience what they're saying they experienced?
Exactly. I know, like, sometimes you'll go into an investigation and you're like, oh no, there is no way. I keep going off the screen. At least on our end, anyway.
It keeps giving me a cameo.
I know. These, they sound so far-fetched that you're like, yeah, all right, sure, all this is going on. And then you get there and every claim that the client has made to you is true.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And then sometimes you're like, you go in and nothing happens. That's when people get mad at you.
Yeah, because we have to tell, we tell them what we find. If we didn't find anything, we're straight up about it. Say, well, this time we didn't come up with anything. And sometimes they do get a little upset with us because we weren't able to validate what they were experiencing.
And it doesn't mean that they didn't experience these things.
No.
Every case is different. Not every investigation you go into are you going to get the activity. It doesn't happen every night, and it doesn't happen when you want it to happen. And there's times we've had to do investigations twice.
No, we've found over the years, sometimes, when we do an investigation more than once, that's when we start getting the evidence.
Right.
After the first time. It seems like the first time may be cold that night. Nothing went on. And we can go back a second night or a third night, and maybe the third night it's going to be, be full blast around us.
Right.
We've had that happen. And it's very interesting. But we've been very fortunate with, our team members. We don't have team members that run. I have taught them, and Destiny has taught them, that, to stand your ground. But, we always tell everybody not to wander off alone. We always want them to go in twos, or let somebody know where they're going to be, during an investigation, because we just.
And see, that's hard for me.
Yes, you're one of the biggest ones.
Destiny, that is so hard for me.
Destiny is one of the hardest ones to follow the rules on an investigation. This is a fact.
And I make up half of them.
Yeah.
But I can't, it's like you're in a haunted location and you start feeling stuff. And then I look around and, nobody's standing right there. And I don't want to say, hey, I feel this over here. Let's go over here. So I just go over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I usually end up far, far away from everybody. And then I'll hear you, where is Destiny?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've opened up over the years, to more avenues of the paranormal than I used to. I used to be quite, the scientific side, the tech side. My expertise for the last 30 some years now has been ITC research. I studied under some of the biggest names in ITC research, in the early years that there is.
And some of your biggest things that before, when we first started investigating, if somebody wrote it down in a book, it was gospel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Michael, just because somebody wrote it in a book doesn't mean that's the way things really are. So Michael and I have some deep paranormal conversations at times.
A lot of times,
I have some weird theories, but there's always something I can back them up with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but you read that in a book, but I like to go and teach by my personal experiences, not by what somebody wrote in a book.
Yeah.
And so, just because somebody says it's this way and that way doesn't necessarily mean it's this way or that way.
Right. Now, I've been told over the years that I'm one of the better ones as far as being able to break down an EVP when I'm doing research on it. And
I'll brag on you for that.
And that's because I'm very meticulous. when I do work up an EVP. I'm actually down to the point where I try to zoom in on the waves, the sound waves, and try to distinguish between human sound waves and non-human sound waves, which I've found over the years there is a difference.
Yeah, it's like
The frequencies are coming out differently.
When you're listening to, I'm sorry, y'all, I have a blanket. It is cold in this room we're in. We had to come over to our building next door because we have a 2-year-old in the house.
It's cold in Georgia tonight.
Yeah, it is cold in Georgia. And so the building didn't heat up fast enough. So I am a little bit cold. So if you see me cuddling in my blanket, just ignore it. But Michael has learned how to look at the graft when he's doing EVP work. And he can tell you exactly just by looking at that graph where the EVPs are.
Yeah.
I mean, just one little bitty bump in that line and he's on it. He's on it. And it saves a lot of time because I have to listen, rewind, listen. But you've pretty much got that down. I'm proud of you.
Again, that's because I look at the frequency waves. And, I've learned over the years, I've done thousands and thousands of EVPs that I've worked up. And I've learned, what to look for in the frequency waves. So when I'm looking for a disembodied voice, I know where to look on the graft.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps me out a lot because it saves a lot of time because I'm able to pinpoint it down pretty quick.
Yeah, you are. You're good at that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that much. So what is the strangest EVP you've ever gotten?
We've had some strange EVPs over the years. Trying to think what one. I think the strangest we ever caught is years ago when we did the gentleman's apartment in Atlanta. And
I remember the case.
Yes. We got some strange EVPs on that case. And give you a little background of the case. I don't want to go into too much detail because even, it's been 10 years or better. Probably more like 12 or 13 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But, we still value, people's privacy. But the individual, his partner had passed away. He had his life partner with him. And he had passed away. And there'd been a lot of activity started up in his home. And he contacted us years ago and asked us if we could come and help him out. Well, it ended up, we had to go a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
To help him out.
Three times.
Three
I think
times.
We went a total of 3 times there.
And not only did we get some, very odd EVPs, we got some odd photographs.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I had the full spectrum camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I'm taking pictures just around in the apartment. I was new to paranormal investigating, and this was actually our first case.
Mm-hmm. As Fox Paranormal. Uh-huh.
And so, I'm taking pictures. I'm obsessed with taking pictures at that point in my paranormal career. And we were looking back at the photos, and this man had a picture on the wall of his partner. And so when we went back looking through them, we actually, looking at the photos, looking back, we had an apparition appearing over the face of that photo.
Yes, we did.
In several photos, you could see it start light and then it darkened up. And I wish we still had those photos. Those
he had a mustache.
Good, yes.
The apparition appeared with a mustache, and nobody at that point in there except for me had a mustache.
Oh, it definitely.
And it wasn't me.
I was the only one in the room taking the pictures.
The facial features was very meticulous in the photograph.
Yeah.
And we were able to pinpoint it down to who it was, and it was somebody is no longer with us. So, that was a very interesting case, and we got some very interesting EVPs. It's like Destiny was saying, we got some language on those EVPs during that case that was not that great. Um, I mean, this entity was very outspoken.
Hey, Ed, how are you doing?
Here we go.
So that case in particular that you're talking about, this man actually had a hellhound
Yes.
come to his apartment.
Yeah, he had a hellhound.
Yes. We didn't get proof of that though.
No, we didn't get proof
But
of the
everything
hellhound.
everything he said was pretty credible. I mean, we didn't catch him in a lie or anything. So I'm saying the man had a hellhound.
We were able to validate that he was having paranormal activity. We caught enough evidence to validate his claims of that. And it was very active.
Ed says, I'm doing very well. Thank you. And Happy New Year's, you guys. Happy New Year's 2024.
Well,
I'm looking so forward to the rest of this year. Summertime,
I am
that
too.
is.
Happy New Year's to you too. We had, a good start. We should have. I'd like to have been a better start, but it was okay because I was with my sweetheart.
Oh, who?
You.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Have to check up behind you every once in a while just to make sure I'm still your sweetheart.
Yes, you are. You always will be.
Oh, thank you.
Always
You're
will
so
be.
sweet. I have the sweetest husband sometimes.
No, we had a good time, I guess. Well, we've been talking about paranormal and some of the evidence we've caught. One of the questions was one of the most interesting things that we'd ever heard. I had another case many years ago where I was investigating an old newspaper office, and I had footsteps come up. I could audibly hear them in my ear walking up to the side of me, and it said, "My sister Mary." And at that time, I did catch that on the audio too.
So somebody named Mary was killed there, or you don't know?
I don't know who all was killed there. You're talking about a Midwestern town back in the cowboy days.
No, you do have a sister Mary. I wonder if maybe it was referring to my sister Mary.
I don't know.
Could have been.
I don't know. I just have my doubts on that one. But it was an interesting audio. And, we've gotten a lot of good stuff over the years.
We have. Like, we were doing a home in Carrollton, Georgia, which is where we live now. We moved from Temple. We're now Fox Paranormal of Carrollton, Georgia.
Yes.
And we were doing that case, and the EVP was long, the response. It said, I'll take this effing trailer and throw it over.
Yeah.
But that's all we could make out. But it was a long sentence.
Yeah.
EVPs were so fascinating to me. I remember the first time Michael played one back for me. I'm like, play it again. Oh my God. I was so excited. I had never, I'm always interested in ghosts, but never had I heard an EVP like right there on our desk. And he's playing this back, and I'm like, they were talking to us.
Yeah.
I said, what else did you get? I used to make him sit for hours. Okay, review this. I want to hear it. What'd you get? What'd you get?
Yeah.
What'd you get? And he got so tired of it, he taught me how to do it. He said, here, you sit down and listen.
Now, we did have, a really interesting time. Back here a few years ago, we camped out in a funeral home for the whole weekend.
Yes.
An abandoned funeral home. And we had permission. And we went in, and we actually did a lock-in. And we had air mattresses set up. Destiny and I slept just
Look,
a few feet from a coffin.
When we go somewhere for an overnight investigation and we're sleeping on the property, I have a queen air mattress. I have a lamp.
Yes.
I have an electric blanket. We have a generator.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to be cold, y'all. I am not. I'm going to
No.
be comforts of home.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when you walk into our little setup, you think you're walking into a motel room.
We've actually did that funeral home
I'll
twice.
bring the crock pot too.
And that was Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mississippi.
Yes,
An old abandoned funeral home in Mississippi.
Yes. It's been sold now.
Yeah, it's actually,
not
I think,
available for investigations anymore. Someone bought it.
and it's
they
actually
were
making it into a
Yeah.
working funeral home again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it still had the embalming room. It had the elevator, the body chute, where they would take the deceased upstairs because their casket room was upstairs on the second floor.
And Big Ronnie opened a door in that funeral home, and there's a lever. It was the old elevator shaft. So there's a lever. So what does Big Ronnie do? Same thing Big Ronnie always does. He pulled the lever.
He pulled it.
Smoke was coming from everywhere, y'all.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, we're burning down the funeral home.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, see, and the embalming room was up on the second floor too. So they would have to, transport the deceased through that elevator upstairs to take care of them and do whatever preparations they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the viewing rooms and
no
everything.
No details on that.
No, the viewing room was downstairs where we were sleeping, and the chapel was downstairs. In the entrance, the back entrance where they would bring the bodies in was downstairs too, by where we were at. So we actually we camped out right by the chapel. We were right beside the chapel.
In the old music room, like a lot of funeral homes, they had this like lattice kind of material up between where the singers would sing or they would play music. And then right through that little lattice work was the front of the chapel. We could see a coffin. They had not an actual coffin that somebody was buried in, I hope.
No, it was a real coffin, but it wasn't. I mean, it hadn't been used.
Right. It was not used.
Yeah.
We think. But we could see that coffin. And one night, we actually went to 2 different haunted locations before we went back for our final night there.
Yeah.
And we think something tagged along with us.
Yeah.
And we took it back to the funeral home. And apparently it didn't stay there because nobody said anything about it lingering. But the last night we were there, all the lights were on that last night as they were the night before. But the last night, everything was darker in there. Like we could see the light reflecting off of the end of the coffin, a pretty light blue, shiny, metallic little thing. And we could see the light reflecting off of it. That last night we were there, we couldn't see it with the same lights on. And the chapel was darker than dark. The night before, we could see the red lights on the IR cameras standing at the front looking at the back. The last night we were there, it was so pitch dark. We couldn't see the lights on the camera.
No.
We couldn't see the red light at all.
The red light.
Couldn't see it at all. And something was darting back and forth at the back door.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a crazy night to the fact where Michael stayed watch over everybody all night. He didn't sleep at all that last night. Actually, he turned our bed around so that
because last night it got very active in that building, and it was like it's like the second time we had stayed in that funeral home for a weekend.
Yeah, it was.
And again, once we go once and we come back, it seems like they know who we are, and then they get a little more comfortable to show themselves.
Yeah, but I don't think this had anything to do with anything that was there at that funeral home. I really don't, because I believe maybe when we went to a jail in that town and investigated for a while, and then we went to an older funeral home, which is right at the property of the one we were investigating. So somewhere between that jail and that other place, I think something decided it was going to go with us.
Yes.
because there was nothing negative in that funeral home. Never had
No,
been,
no.
and no reports of anything after that. So I really think something followed us, possibly from the jail. I don't know.
Possibility.
I really don't know, but
Oh.
it was a crazy night. It definitely was, and I thought I'd killed Donald. He had Donald Martin. I don't know if he's watching or not. Southern Paranormal. He had a toothache. Well, I just happened to have some magic mouthwash that the doctor gave me. You squish it around in your mouth, hold it in there for a while, spit it out, makes you feel better. Well, he left that day and they were going to a Paracon in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And he got real, real sick while they were gone. And all I could think about is Donald's going to die. And I've killed him. I mean, it was my fault. He was allergic to something in there, maybe the Benadryl or whatever. I just knew, he was going to die and it was my fault. And I talked to him about that and he said, yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, great. But come to find out, it was just abscessed tooth
Mm-hmm.
and it put some poison into his bloodstream. I had nothing to do with it, but he's alive and well.
Yeah. Donald's a good friend of ours,
Yes,
very
he
close
is.
friend. We've had the opportunity to go down there and work with him at the funeral home. And
yes, the old Southern Funeral Home in Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
yeah, he built Foxy for us.
Mm-hmm.
Our REM pod, our Fox REM pod.
Sure did.
We'll have to have her on the show so everybody can see her sometime. We didn't bring her over tonight.
No.
But we actually used her in the funeral home, and we had her setting up on that coffin, and she went off during the night.
Yes.
It started beeping.
Quite a few times.
Yeah.
Little Foxy the REM pod.
Yeah. Everybody loves Foxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Josh Gates autographed her butt.
Josh Gates autographed her. I think Jason
right
Hahn.
on her butt.
Jason Hahn, didn't he?
No.
He did not autograph
He
her.
held her and took a picture with her.
Oh, yeah. He held her and got a
Jason
picture with her.
Hobbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He liked
Everybody
Foxy
gets
too.
a picture with Foxy.
Everybody loved Foxy.
Yeah.
She could hold her own with all the celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's pretty cool, and everybody likes her, and she's a one of a kind because once she was built, we were promised that it would never be reproduced.
Right. I asked that.
Yeah.
No, don't ever make another one just like her.
Yeah.
So she is a one of a kind.
Yeah. So she was custom made just for us.
And she has outfits.
She does.
She has little outfits. We can change her little clothes. Actually, what she is a Build-A-Bear fox.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know how it really works. Just put a little pack in her back and run little wires through her little arms and her face.
She has sensors. Yeah, she has sensors in her arms and in her chest and in her legs.
Yep.
She has, about every limb on her is a sensor, so it'll pick up. And then the actual REM pods embedded inside her there, and you can see when the red light goes off, her little belly glows.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is quite a little character. We have a new piece of equipment coming that we've ordered. Our SLS messed up, and so we have another one on the way. I can't wait to get it, and I hope we get it by the time our next investigation.
Yeah. Well, the first one, I had a big learning curve on that.
Yeah, you did.
And
you did.
I finally, just before it messed up, I had it down pat good. It was functioning very nicely. The actual SLS still works. It was the tablet that went out. I suppose we could replace the tablet somehow, but we'd have to be able to get the programs on the tablet.
Download program. That's okay. We got a new and improved one coming. So
yeah, but those tablets, those Android tablets, they don't last forever.
I think sometimes though with the SLS, you have to be careful because it'll map out a chair, and you'll think you've got Uncle Ernie standing at the foot of the bed, but I think it maps out different things. I'm curious to see how this next one does.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can't wait to get it and start working with it. We have a lot of stuff we use on investigation. So
we I wanted to tell you guys too. Our son got married, Joshua, and the December 28th. And he's just happy as he can be. They're just the cutest little couple.
Yeah.
And during this marriage, it brought me a new grandbaby because he is now stepfather to a 2-year-old. And that little 2-year-old is so daggum cute. I was playing with him before we came over here. We were drawing pictures.
Yeah, we got to get pictures of Will.
Yes.
I got to have pictures to show him off to everybody.
Yes. I've got some in my phone.
Yeah.
Of course I do. I'm a grandma.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Take pictures of grandbabies.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been to some of our Paracons, you've met Joshua. He works at our table.
Yes.
Also, he calls himself Mommy's bodyguard. But nobody wants to mess with Mama. I promise you that. Baby is protective.
Yeah, I pretty well take care of things.
No, I was talking about Joshua.
Yeah, I pretty well take care of things.
Don't be like that. So our guest tonight, I'm assuming, had a call because he works for the fire department. So we've just been talking paranormal, which is what Fox Paranormal Chat's all about anyway.
Yeah.
Talking all things paranormal.
Yeah. We've talked a little bit about, some of our older cases and some of the interesting things that we found. We're looking forward to 2024 on investigating the paranormal. We're looking very forward to all the Paracons we've booked for this year.
Yes.
So, I want everybody to come out. Gettysburg. We've got our big one there in Alabama. LA.
Yeah. Lower
Alabama. Put on by Stan and Teresa Fikes.
Yes.
W.E.B.B Paranormal. And we can't wait for that one. That one we've gone to both of them. They've held, and each one has gotten bigger and better.
Yes.
So I'm excited.
The date's already set too.
Yes.
First weekend in October.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, we've got the USS North Carolina. I think it's in June.
Yeah, USS North Carolina. That's going to be fun. And again, we're going to be there with Stan and Teresa Fikes.
Yes.
And we're all going to investigate the battleship. And I think, we're going to get some stuff because that battleship
I've never
is known.
been on a battleship.
That battleship is known to be active, Destiny. I mean, I think you're going to enjoy this.
Let's see.
Last time I was on the battleship, I was just a kid. So it's been.
Did you have a paranormal experience?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I was too hyped up over the big guns and stuff I liked.
Oh.
At that time, I thought they were the coolest things going. So, and of course, I had family members, that was in the Navy. And I just thought it was cool that I was able to get on a battleship and walk around and.
As a kid, about it.
Yeah, well, it's good memories, good memories back in those days, and I can't wait to get back and see the battleship again. But this time, I'm going with armed to the teeth. We're looking for paranormal.
We're gonna get some paranormal.
Yeah, we're gonna get some paranormal.
I'm excited. Then we're going back to the Warrens.
The Warrens. We went to the Warrens. Paracon last year
in Connecticut.
That was a blast. We got to meet a whole bunch of new people.
I had so much fun, but we were strapped at the table about the whole time.
Yeah.
We were so busy.
Yeah, we were very busy. That was a very cool Paracon. Like I said, we got to meet a lot of new people that we had heard about in the paranormal field, but we hadn't ventured that far east to meet them until now. So we got to do that. We got to meet, some celebrities that we hadn't met yet. And that was cool. Um, the Paracon was absolutely amazing. You know, busy, very busy. Uh, it's all of them are busy. It seems like, but this one was especially busy. So it kept us hopping.
Yes, it did. From
Yeah.
the time the doors opened, just about until the time the doors closed.
Yes.
It was a long, long day. I wouldn't trade it for anything, though.
No, I wouldn't either.
I got to see Annabelle.
Yes, you got to see
Bucket list.
Annabelle,
Yes.
the real Annabelle.
Right.
Yeah, we
and
got
had
to
a
see
good
her.
conversation with Tony Sparrow and his wife Judy.
Yeah, I had a good conversation with Tony
Felt
Sparrow.
like they were family by the time we walked out. They were probably glad
Tony
we
and I
walked
were
out.
talking about making meatballs. So, yeah.
But it was exciting.
Yeah, he's a very down-to-earth guy, Tony Sparrow. I like Tony.
Yeah.
And he's
They're
got
good
my
people.
taste for meatballs. So,
Yeah.
he likes some spicy.
You like anything spicy.
True. I just like spicy food. And I've always liked Italian food. And good Italian food is spicy.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. But yeah, I got to meet Tony. I got to meet Tony's wife. And we got to meet Tony's cousin.
And
Her name
is Tony too.
is Tony Sparrow.
Yeah, so there's two of them.
Yeah, there's two Tony Sparrows.
Mhm.
One's a female.
Yeah.
But she was super nice lady. It was very much our pleasure to meet, you know, her and Tony's wife. And we were able to, you know, visit with them at their table for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool. And I'm looking forward to Connecticut again. I look forward to all the Paracons. I love them all.
I do too.
I just love the Paracons.
I wish we could just go to one every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not rich like that.
No. You know, a lot of times they want us to speak at the Paracons and stuff. So, you know, we stay pretty busy when we go because we're having to deal with all that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. You know, we love it anyway. We love to talk to everybody.
We love what we do.
Yes.
When we started in the paranormal, and if you've watched and listened to us any at all, you'll know that when I first started paranormal, and I guess you were the same way, it was more thrill seeking because we would catch something and I'd be on top of the world, adrenaline rush, just amazing, just excited about it. I mean, giddy like a little girl. I was like, did you see that, Michael? Michael, look. You know, I was just constantly doing that. And we started doing a lot of client-based investigations, and then it became so much more. When you actually see people, when you're able to resolve their problems,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the time, you know, there is a resolve.
Yeah, we try to. We try to come up with a resolve.
But seeing the relief on their face,
yeah,
you know, when you've been in there, even if it's just a little house cleansing or a prayer, just making them feel comfortable in their home, you know, it just means the world to me. Because there's been times in my life I needed somebody to help me. A lot of these times were not related to paranormal problems, but, you know, just having somebody support you and believing you, that is the biggest thing. You know, we believe all the claims clients tell us, you know, because a lot of people, you know, and they're afraid to tell us a lot of things that,
they are.
go on. And
you're right.
And then, you know, you kind of pick up on it once you get there and you're like, is there anything you're not telling me? And Michael and I seem to know, like, if it's a female, he'll be like, yeah, you need to talk to her, just you and her. You need to have a conversation. And I know the right direction to go because I know you've picked up on something, and you're usually right.
Yeah.
What you think is going on is actually what's going on. And
I usually have a really good luck when I go into a situation, and Destiny can tell you this too. Whenever it's a entity that had a connection to the military, because of my connection to the military, and it seems like we're able to connect.
Yes, that's
And
happened before.
that has happened before, in different cases. So, that helps us a lot. And I think I'm more sensitive now than I have been in over the earlier years. It seems like I've evolved a little bit.
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
The more you investigate the paranormal, I believe, the more your senses open, and
Mm-hmm.
you listen a little closer, observe a little closer than you ever did before. And I think I think you've always had that ability. I just think you've realized it a lot more over the past 3 or 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, probably. Just maybe I've learned how to focus it better
Right.
over the last few years.
Yeah.
I by no means, I'm no psychic. I'm not a medium.
But you're very sensitive.
I'm very sensitive, but I'm a paranormal investigator, and I still have a tendency to stick to the scientific side of it, trying to, gather this evidence, gather these EVPs, using the ITC, in any shape or form that I can to get us more evidence.
Right. Where I'm the more spiritual one. I go by what I see, what I hear, what I
Mhm.
feel. And, when we put those two things together, it just clicks.
It clicks. It works.
It does.
It works.
Usually if I tell Michael, I think you're going to hear a voice right here because this ear, in my right ear, it may be showing the left ear on there, but this is my right ear. Spirits talk to me in this ear.
Yeah.
And I always tell Michael, okay, you're going to hear something right here. This is a place that you want to go back and listen. And 9 times out of 10, he goes back and he hears exactly what I told him.
Yeah, I will get it.
Was being said. Or if not that, I'll say I couldn't make out what it was saying, but he'll pull it out. And it's just amazing how Fox Paranormal has evolved through the years and how far we've come. As far as helping people, and that's become my main goal. I just want to help people.
Mm-hmm. That's basically our goal, is to help people now, and to get that information that we can get, and what we get, we try to share with the paranormal community when we can.
Right, and we've met so many amazing people along the way. Michael and I, are going to retire sooner or later, and we're trying to pull some family in to pick up, and when we can't go anymore. If that ever happens, we want Fox Paranormal to keep going, so we may have to adopt some kids so that because my kids are not. They're all into paranormal. All my kids, except for Joshua. Both my daughters are hell of paranormal investigators. They are just awesome. And I have a niece that's the same way. And they're just great to work with. It's just with situations and circumstances, they can't be a member of the team and help us out. And I hate that with everything within me, because my kids are a lot like me. They see, feel, and hear things.
Yeah.
And Joshua does too, but he is not interested in experiencing these things. He said, "No, Mama." He said, "I see enough and I hear enough. I'm not going in a haunted place and see more and have to deal with more stuff." And I get it. If you're any kind of psychic at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And he doesn't want to open himself up. And I respect that. I really do. Even though Mama wants him there and Mama wants him to do this, but I can't choose his path. He has to choose his own path in life. Because if I chose his path, he would be sitting right here with us right now. But,
probably, yeah.
Yeah. Very intelligent young man.
He is very intelligent. And when he's been with us, he's been a lot of help.
Right.
Especially at the Paracons. He's been a lot of help there. And there's a lot of times we need help when we go to those events.
Right. Well, you know what it's like when your kids, you have a daughter
Hmm.
that you investigated with before. It just makes you proud when your kids are right there with you.
Yeah. And my niece, I've investigated many, many times with my niece.
Yes.
She's like a daughter to me. I mean, I love her to
Mm.
death. Miss her, because she was like my right hand man at one point.
Right hand woman.
Well, woman, man.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, she was very into the paranormal, and she was one of the founders of 3 a.m. Paranormal in California.
Yeah.
And then I worked with 3 a.m. Paranormal for a few years. And
And she
opened.
was on a couple of good paranormal shows
Yeah,
herself.
yeah, she was on several paranormal shows.
Hmm.
She's been on with Zach Bagan
Yeah.
over the years. And then I worked with a paranormal team in Alabama for a short while. And
Hmm.
Destiny and I decided, we were going to branch out and start our own little group years ago. And it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And here we are today.
But I had to give you a push to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Back in earlier days, I just wasn't that big on stepping out on the unknown, far as taking chances on a group like that. But you helped me take that leap.
Or on anything. I'm like, Michael, we can do this. I
Yeah.
don't know, baby. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael, we can do this. Let's go. Let's do it right now.
Well, I spent so many years helping other teams. It just felt odd doing it for myself,
Right.
But now I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely.
After all this time, it's just the way it's supposed to be. And I think, that it's helped me grow as a paranormal investigator, because I take every case so personal.
Absolutely. And that's who we are. We're Fox
Yeah.
Paranormal. And if somebody's meeting us for the first time, yeah, we're Fox Paranormal.
Yeah.
I've never been so proud of a name in all my life.
Yeah.
You know, when I see how our team members are growing and the things that they're doing, how not only growing in the team, but in their own personal lives. Young man with our team, married, has a couple of beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
And to see him mature in life as well as on the team has really made me a proud Mama Fox. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Young blood. That's what I'm
Youngblood.
talking about.
Yeah.
He was just a kid when he started investigating with us, just carefree, hard-headed, but
And he brought his
I'm proud
daddy
of
in
him.
on it, and then his daddy became part of the team, and we wouldn't know what to do without Big Ronnie.
Okay. The voyeur in the foyer. Exorcisms are interested. Are they considered paranormal? Well, I look at it as part of the paranormal. We do. We have done exorcisms, and they're not fun, and it's not something that we choose to do, but it's something that we're called to do. But we do, personally, Michael and I consider them part of the paranormal world because it is something you can't see. Just like spirits, it is, demons are spirits. So yeah, I consider them paranormal. Personally, I do.
The very
I can't speak for everybody, but yeah.
The very field of demonology, it is paranormal. It's part of the paranormal umbrella. It's under the umbrella of the paranormal, just like Bigfoot and aliens. It's all under that umbrella of the paranormal.
Yeah, we're kind of like Ghostbusters, but I prefer the term investigator. I don't know, just something about that Ghostbuster. How do you bust a ghost kind of thing?
I don't know.
I like to consider. He said, "Oh, okay, thanks. I wasn't sure." Yeah, I like to consider what we do more of investigating to help people understand the paranormal better, and even for us to learn more about the paranormal, whether it's ghosts, demons, angels, or whatever. I want a better understanding, and I want to learn more about these things myself. We've been investigating the paranormal a long time, but we don't know everything. We have not found out everything. So we're still seeking and trying to gain knowledge all the time. The more knowledge, knowledge is power. The more power that you have, then the better you can help people who are having paranormal issues.
Yeah. We try to be there and help the clients.
Absolutely.
I can't stress that enough. We'll investigate. And, we've had a lot of cases over the years that ended up being demonic. So, as far as that earlier comment, exorcisms is part of the paranormal. Investigating demonic activity.
I was always going to become a Catholic priest just to become an exorcist. One thing that I found out is I do know people who have learned under the Catholic Church how to do exorcisms, but there are a lot of religions that are not Catholic that actually perform exorcisms.
Yes.
Which Michael and I are not Catholic, but we have performed exorcisms. To be honest with you, we're Pentecostal as far as our religious background. But but I have the utmost respect for the Catholic Church.
My early years, I have actually done work for the Catholic Church. I was contacted years and years ago to investigate for them to get evidence to either validate or not validate as far as warranting an exorcism. So, I've got some experience and background with the Catholic Church on that. And a lot of people don't realize this, but not every order in the Catholic Church wants to get involved with the paranormal. There's only really one or two orders, what they call orders in the Catholic Church, that focus on exorcisms. And they're the ones, that will want a paranormal investigator to do their job and gather information so they can take this evidence that the paranormal investigator got and they take it back to the Vatican and to get a ruling whether or not it warrants an exorcism or not under the Catholic guidelines. I know the only other person I know that really worked closer with the Catholic Church was Ed Warren. Ed and Lorraine Warren had a very, very close relationship with the Catholic Church on investigating stuff. And they did a lot of the same thing, as far as I read and saw over the years. Ed would get information and take it back to the church. And of course, that information would go to the Vatican and decisions were made whether or not to pursue it or not.
Right.
So,
well, sort of like we've done before, out-of-state investigations. You send a team in the area in, have them report back to us, and if we need to pursue it further, then we step in and do what we do. I have heard that. I think I'd be too nervous to try to do any exorcism without the Catholic info and training. It's just a personal choice, nothing against other. Oh, I understand. I get it. I have been trained under Jereme Leonard, which was to be our guest tonight. But again, he works for the fire department, and I believe he may have gotten a call and had to go out. So he wasn't able to be with us. But now he did train under a Catholic priest. Yes.
Jesuits. Yeah. Benedictine also. Benedictines will, I worked with the Benedictine order as far as doing investigations for them a few times over the years. The Jesuits is pretty much the main order. You are correct on that.
Absolutely. We've went over our hour, and it's been a good night. I mean, this is our first live with the W.E.B.B Paranormal Radio.
Yeah.
And this is exciting. And it's good to see our producer moving up, and we're proud of him. And I'm proud that we're able to do a live stream podcast now. It's just exciting.
This is exciting. And we're going to grow with it. You know, every broadcast, we're going to try to make it bigger and better for y'all.
Absolutely.
And more interesting. And we love the questions. Don't stop sending the questions. We love the questions and comments.
Absolutely. We love interaction.
Yes.
Michael and I had always been interviewed on podcasts and live streams. So when we started our podcast to begin with, it was kind of strange getting used to asking questions and not being the one answering the questions. So
right.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
we enjoyed you jumping in and talking with us.
We sure did. You know, thank you so much for listening and watching. You know, I did a one show one time, and they waited till I was on the air, and they told me, "Oh, Michael, by the way, this is being shown in 4 countries."
I remember that. Rob McConnell.
Yeah, Rob McConnell.
In Canada.
Yeah, out of Canada.
His show is seen just about all the way around the world.
Yeah, so
I guess he still does it. I'm really not sure. I haven't heard anything for a while. But Michael has some interviews with him, and they're on YouTube. If you look up Rob McConnell and Michael Fox, the interview that he did, I think you did 2 of them with him.
I think I did do 2 interviews that was broadcast.
And this is so hilarious. When I would get asked to be on a podcast, I would always get a headache. And I said, Michael, you're going to have to do that for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have a headache. You're going to have to do that by yourself. I was so afraid of doing anything. It was like I was excited to be asked and excited that I was considered to be a part of it. But when it came down to it, it's like I got cold feet.
Yeah,
I did, and I was scared. That was the truth. I was just scared. I was scared to step out. Rob McConnell and Michael Fox interview.
Yeah. One of those 2 is when he told me, you know, that it was being broadcast in 4 countries, and they waited till we were on the air to tell me, and that just, you know, freaked me out a little bit, because I've done a lot of radio shows, you know, and stuff, but never anything that was broadcast international like that before till now.
Yeah.
But
you're a pretty smart fella.
Yeah.
I'm serious. When I listen back or when I'm watching and you're doing a show by yourself when you're a guest, it's like, I'm like, I am married to such a smart man. I don't deserve his intelligence. He's a smart man.
I love it when people want to tap into the experience and the knowledge that I've gained over the years in the paranormal, and I love sharing it. I really do. I love to share this experience and knowledge with people, especially new investigators that are trying to do it right the first time. And I love to help them out any way I can.
Right. And if you're young in the paranormal field, don't be afraid to mess up.
No, it's going to happen.
It's part of it. I mean, there's no right way and wrong way, really. You know, you just have to learn as you go.
Yeah.
It is a learning experience.
We have made, you know, so many good friends over the years in the paranormal community. Stan and Teresa are one of our best friends that we've got. I love those guys. And Stan, you know, and I both grew up in North Carolina, 1 county apart. So we have that tie, you know, being Carolinians.
I wish I caught your show earlier tonight. Hey, we'll be right back here, same time next week.
Yeah.
7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Did I say this right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 o'clock
so
Eastern.
Every Thursday night, we plan on trying to have a new guest every week. If not, we will have a paranormal subject. Tonight, we were kind of just winging it. again because our guest possibly had a call. He was at work actually. And,
well, maybe we can nail him for next
and
week.
I just had a feeling this was going to happen, but I lived in Rock Hill, South Carolina for 12 years.
Ah,
Is that close to where you lived?
not real close, but I know where it's at. I've heard of Rock Hill. Yeah. I was in North Carolina.
Oh, okay. That's South Carolina. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just knew it was one of the Carolinas.
Yeah. Carolinas. You know, at the beginning, it was just one state. It was the Carolinas, and then they decided to split it up between North and South. So.
Well, I have a family member at the hospital, and
Yes.
I'm going to have to go check and see what's going on. I'm getting message after message over here.
Yes.
But this has been exciting. You can check us out on our page, Fox Paranormal. Also, if you have something you want to advertise that's paranormal, such as your team, podcast, or just get likes on your page or whatever, check out Fox Paranormal Advertising. It's a group and people share events there all the time. And as long as it pertains to something paranormal, you're welcome to post there. Also, check out our episode on the Hulu show Repossessed. Michael and myself are on season 1, episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's airing on Hulu and Apple TV. And check us out here on the web.
Yeah.
Every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. And, bring more questions because we love them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There is no stupid questions. It's been a fun night.
Right over the state line. I didn't get all that.
Yeah.
The amusement park. Oh, is that the one I've always wanted to go to? The abandoned one?
Yes, I think so.
I don't know.
Yes.
Right over the state line after Carowinds Amusement Park. Oh, okay.
Carowinds. Okay, I know where he's. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, Carowinds. Yeah, that's a little ways from where I grew up, but it's been a fun night. I tell you, it's been great for our first live broadcast, audio and video.
One of our team members is at the hospital with a kidney stone. Bless his heart. I feel so sorry for him. Those things are painful.
Yeah. Well, we just want to, I guess, say good night. And you guys have a great time. And, wait, next week we'll be back on and we will be raring to go.
And we won't be so scattered.
No. We'll get it even more focused.